Well, hey there, and hello, and welcome to the attic of the dollhouse for another reading from Grimm's Complete of Fairy Tales. That's right, and do a little camera switch in there, a little bit heavy-handed there, if you like. Well, hey, if you've been here before, you know what we like to do before we dive in with the Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales? We like to set the mood straight. That's right. We get the lights off. They'll work for us there, and we get us a little firecracking element going there. Oh, look at that. The old cuckoo clock ain't quite working for us, is it? There's no firecracking element there, so let's get that dialed in, shall we? Boom! Oh, little magic. Little movie magic. And we also like to play us a little blues harp. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's blues, but it's something. So let's dive in with that. Do I have it up? Yeah, that's right. I gotta make sure the numbers are facing up there, else you get a. All right. That was some pretty nasty blues all playing there. Hey, we got the mood set straight, didn't we now? All right, so what are we reading tonight, are we, huh? Let's see. Let's just crack the book open, all right? Oh, To the Old Grandfather's Corner. That's what we're going to read first. We got a couple of shorties tonight, so I won't be bothering you too long here. The Old Grandfather's Corner. Once upon a time, there was a very old man who lived with his son and daughter-in-law. His eyes were dim, and his knees tottered under him when he walked, and he was very deaf. As he sat at table, his hand shook so that he would often spill the soup over the tablecloth or on his clothes, and sometimes he could not even keep it in his mouth when it got there. His son and daughter were so annoyed to see his conduct at the table that at last they placed a chair for him in the corner behind the screen and gave him his meals in an earthenware basin quite away from the rest. He would often look sorrowfully at the table with tears in his eyes, but he did not complain. One day, while he was thinking sadly of his past, the earthenware basin, which he could scarcely hold in his trembling hands, fell to the ground and was broken. The young wife scolded him well for being so careless, but he did not reply. He only sighed deeply. Then she bought him a wooden bowl for a penny and gave him his meals in it. Some days afterward, his son and daughter saw their little boy, who was about 4 years old, sitting on the ground and trying to fasten together some wood pieces. "What are you making, my boy?" asked the father. "I'm making a little bowl for Papa and Mama to eat their food in when I grow up," he replied. The husband and wife looked at each other without speaking for some minutes. At last they began to shed tears and went and brought their old father back to the table. And from that day he always took his meals with them and was never again treated unkindly. Well, from the mouths of babes, right? We'll help them contextualize how they was treating the old grandfather in his corner there. All right, that's been the grandfather's corner. Let's move on to the ungrateful son. Oh, another one? All right. The ungrateful son. A man and his wife were once sitting by the door of their house, and they had a roasted chicken set before them, and were about to eat it together. The man saw that his aged father was coming, and hastily took the chicken and hid it, for he would not permit him to have any of it. The old man came, took a drink, and went away. And the son wanted to put the roasted chicken on the table again, but when he took it up, It had become a great toad, which jumped in his face and sat there and never went away again. And if anyone wanted to take it off, it looked venomously at him as if it would jump on his face, so that no one would venture to touch it. And the ungrateful son was forced to feed the toad every day, or else it fed itself on his face, and thus he went about the world without knowing rest. I'll say, the ungrateful son, quick, fast, down, and dirty, and I have no idea why he was ungrateful. I'll have to read that again, in my off time, or just listen to it on the channel there. But hey, let's move on to our last story of the night, another shorty. Sometimes they're short, but we got to get them out to make us all complete Grimm's fairy tales. So, the Bittern and the Hoepoo. Not quite sure what those mean, but the Bittern and the Hoepoo. "Where do you like best to feed your flocks?" said a man to an old cow herd. "Here, sir, where the grass is neither too rich nor too poor, or else it is of no use." "Why not?" asked the man. "Do you hear that melancholy cry from the meadow there?" answered the shepherd. "Oh, that is the Bittern. He was once a shepherd, and so was the Hoepoo also, and I will tell you a story. The Bittern pastured his flocks on rich, green meadows where flowers grew in abundance, so his cows became wild and unmanageable. The Hoepoo drove his cattle on to high, barren hills, where when the wind plays with the sand, and his cows became thin and got no strength. When it was evening, and the shepherds wanted to drive their cow homewards, well, the Bittern could not get his together again. They were too high-spirited, and ran away from him. He called, 'Come, cows, come!' But it was of no use, and they took no notice of his calling. The Hoepoo, however, could not even get his cows up on their legs, so faint and weak had they become. 'Up, up, up!' screamed he, but it was in vain. They remained lying on the sand, and that is the way when one has no moderation. And to this day, though they have no flocks now to watch, the Bittern cries, 'Come, cows, come!' and the Hoepoo, 'Up, up, up!' And that has been the Bittern and the Hoepoo. I imagine there's some kind of lesson to be learned there, maybe even between all three, and maybe that is the takeaway from the shorties this evening. And that has been a Grimm's complete fairy tales. A couple of shorties tonight. Oh, that's right. Okay, I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're interested in picking up your own copy of Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. Well, here nor there, I hope you enjoyed yourself there. So let me take us out and let you get on with your evening now. Oh, I was missing the comb all over the place. But hey, I played pretty poorly at the beginning and now at the end. So it's a nice bookends all the way there. For maybe a big old book by the name of Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. That's right. Okay. Hope you enjoyed yourself there. And as I always do, say, oh, kisses to your missus and a tip of my hat to your old cat. And you come on back now again, you hear? You understand? Hope you do. You better. All right, take care of yourselves.